So, what is going on, guys? This is Professor Loki, and in this video, we are going to be talking about the most depressing, most unfortunate, the worst thing that could ever happen to Loki. Worse, 50 million times worse than the Loki nerfs. In fact, the Loki nerfs for the auto nerfs is like a buff compared to this. Today, Friday, February 21st. Um, High-res Ajax posted a post. This is the post. They posted the blog about Loki, and essentially most of this is just why Loki should be changed and whatnot. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna go straight into the kit. Just for the record, anyone here who likes Loki, prepare to be extremely disappointed. Anyone who has played Loki for years, prepare to be depressed. Um, they are completely destroying Loki, and they talk good on paper. If you read this, you will agree with some of these things, but their actions don't reflect their ideals. So they said they're only going to change one or two things. They are changing every single ability of Loki. Um, they are nerfing him beyond measures. So his first thing is they're reverting the basic attack from 0.75 to 100%, meaning they are reverting the auto attack nerf. They think this is good, but they're removing auto canceling for Loki as the primary way of dealing damage, meaning that Loki will no longer be an auto canceling god. Passive is going to be the same, except that it's going to, or not the same, it's going to interact with different abilities and deal more damage or whatnot. I do want to keep this in mind that this is obviously not 100% final, but we all know this is probably going to happen anyways. His first ability, Vanish, minor rework. It's not a minor rework, this is a major nerf. It now takes slightly longer for Loki to become fully invisible after firing this ability, meaning that when you press Vanish, you're not instantly invisible. It takes time to go invisible. Think of Kalari and Paragon. When you activate your invisibility, you have to kind of start up and then you become invisible. Now this is horrible. Anytime Loki takes damage while stealth, his full god model with a shadow texture will be revealed for a fraction of a second. What this means is that every time you take damage, people can see you. Your stealth is not broken, but people can see you. They'll see your face, they'll see your direction. You know how when you stealth and you're like this black figure? When people hit you, they'll see that black figure. And just imagine this, right? Sylvanas' 2 lasts for 4 seconds. Loki's Vanish lasts for 4 seconds. If Sylvanas presses his healing wisps and he hits you, your Vanish is completely useless. That's just an example. Any god with a dot like Dodgy, Ares, it doesn't matter. Any god that has a dot will now permanently see you as long as they hit you first. Especially with big giant circles. Decoy. So he is no longer having a decoy. It is being completely changed to this new thing called agonizing venom. Now, this is very confusing. Allow me to ignore this and let me explain what this is. Imagine Loki decoy, but remove the decoy and put some kind of torment that poisons enemies inside this radius every second, and if they're hit 4 times by that, they'll become blinded. Like Ross 2, the blind. So Loki will be the second character who can blind thing. Your entire screen will become white. So in other words, Loki throws his venom decoy. If people are in the decoy, they take damage. If they take damage 4 times, they get blinded. Now here's the saddest thing so far. This deployable does not taunt, which means it no longer taunts minions. It cannot be damaged, which is something that the current decoy is. Now here's the horrible part. It cannot be targeted, which means that Ruler Axe can throw an axe through that. It can't. In other words, this ability can no longer block auto attacks, block people, aggro towers. It doesn't. If you throw this thing in the tower does nothing to it. It's just a damaging circle that blinds you if you get hit multiple times. This is going to be completely changed too. This is no longer aim strike. It is now essentially a cone-shaped damaging ability. Think of Ao Kuang's 3 or Hebo's 1. That's Loki's new third ability. It's an ability damage, not an auto attack steroid. And it's also a channel, which means you are casting this. Think of Nox 1. Think of in other words, when you're using this ability, you can't do anything else. You can move around, but you cannot do anything else. You can't auto attack. You can't, you have to cancel this ability to do something else. And then his ultimate. Long story short, Loki teleports to the enemy, deals damage and cripples them, and then attacks them again that deals additional damage and stuns. You may think this is great and all, but the reason why it has two phases is because they want Loki's ultimate to be easily aegisable. In other words, they want Loki's ultimate to be easily counterable and easily reactable. The current Loki, you have a less than 0.3 milliseconds to react before he stuns and damages you. This one, you'll have plenty of time to react, meaning that people can basically avoid this ultimate fairly easily, or at least that's the intended purpose. So, as one may see, every single redesign is a nerf Loki. This character is no longer Loki. Loki is dead. And I'm telling you guys now, this is a serious video. If this becomes the new Loki, now again, keep in mind, this is just this is not 100%. This is someone told me it's like 30-40%. Whatever that means. No one knows the numbers, which doesn't matter, because if the numbers are high, he's broken. If the numbers are low, he's not broken. That's just how it's gonna work. There are a lot. Hi-Rez is unfortunately not being honest. They said they're only gonna rework one or two abilities, but they're hitting every single ability. They say they want Loki's core to be, Vanish to be strong, and yet here they are nerfing Vanish. They want Loki to be a stealth assassin, and yet they're nerfing Vanish. This is not an assassin ability, that's just an Ao Kuang 3, and his ultimate is now slow. This is just ridiculous. Everything they're promising. See here, decreasing frustration by adding more animation time to Loki's attacks, regulating his time to kill, and allowing opponents to react and fight back more easily. In other words, screw you, Loki. You are no longer a threat, and everyone can now have a chance to make you useless. All in all, if this character, and this is me being serious again, if this becomes the new Loki, I'm unfortunately going to not exist. My entire purpose ever since I created this channel was to educate people on how to play Loki better, because I realized ever since in season 1 that people do not know how to play Loki. No one knew what any of the things he does. No one knew what he can and cannot do, and I believe I did, and I still do believe I know what's best for Loki. And this is definitely not it. This is the opposite. You look at this as a rework, I'm very sad, because the only thing I see in this is nerfs. If you look at this ability and call it a rework, I don't want to be mean, but you're really stupid. This is a nerf. Literally just change this word to these two words to nerf, you'll believe it's a nerf because it is a nerf. Look how it talks about. Loki takes longer to stealth. Loki's stealth is revealed if he takes damage. If you don't consider that as a nerf, you're crazy. This is also a nerf. Look, it doesn't taunt. It can't be. You can't use it to body block people. You can't use it to block auto attacks, block shots. It doesn't aggro towers. This ability, it's a channel, which means you're vulnerable during the channel. So this ability is either going to be very strong and just deals half of someone's health, or be completely useless and you'll just die because Sasan, No Thor, Robin can just kill you like that. It says roughly 1.5 seconds. Robin can kill you in less than that. Minor rework. Again, this is just nerf. This is not a rework. This is a nerf. This is why I try to encourage you guys to stop supporting reworks, because Hi-Rez is incapable of reworking gods, and they will just mess up the god at the end. They messed up they messed up Freya, they messed up Bastet, they messed up Odin, they messed up Nox. The gods are there. Every rework, even Nike. You know how Nike exists? Yeah, I don't either. Every single one of these gods are just not relevant anymore. Or they're either very bloated, OP, or they're just ult bots, or they're just completely useless. And Loki will become just like that. History repeats itself, and this is a clear evidence. Or this is going to be clearly evidently going to repeat. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Again, if Loki becomes this garbage-ness, which, again, I'm pretty sure this is going to be subject to change. I've talked to Olympians. I've talked to Jackson directly through Olympians. I've had conversations with them for more than 3 hours. If you want to check that out, go to my stream, Twitch, Professor Loki, twitch.tv/Professor Loki. You go to browsing history or broadcast history, and there's one that's 20 hours long. And if you skip a bit, you should find my conversation with Olympians discussing how terrible this is. Ajax is lenient. He's nice. He's providing the gesture. He says he hears me, but unfortunately, I don't think that matters, because at the end of the day, they state Loki mains and Loki haters both have an equal voice in this, but in reality, who has the louder voice? Loki mains or Loki haters? So, the majority, tyranny of the majority, the fallacy of the majority, it keeps playing itself over and over and over in human society and even in games. So I think I'm going to now end this video here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna see you guys, all Loki and non-Loki players, next time.